Welcome back to Joe Stunner Boxing, and welcome back again to the Conor Benn drama, this great soap opera that's going on and on and on. Look, I made a video yesterday and it was about how Ben and his team have appointed a couple of experts. You know, they've enlisted the help of two other experts with presumably more proof. I don't know whether this 170-page dossier was enough, clearly not. But I saw an interview with Dave Caldwell today, and he was saying, you know, I don't know what's going on. You know, I'm not paid to know what's going on. Good point. Very, very good point. You're not paid. That's just it. And also, I made a comment in my previous video saying, you know, I'm rather sick and tired of this thing. I think we're all sick and tired of it. But someone left a comment that I think was particularly pertinent. They said, keep banging the drum. Keep making these videos, because don't let, I mean, I'm paraphrasing what the guy said, but don't let Ben and his team or Eddie Hearn or anyone else, you know, spin this. Keep making these videos which concentrate the viewer on the real issue at hand, okay? And the real issue at hand is this. Conor Benn fails 2 tests, weeks apart, months apart, was it? Month and a half maybe, I can't remember exactly when, but 2 tests on separate occasions, okay, through VADA. The board, VADA's a testing agency, so the board say, we want UCAD to come in, do a bit of digging here, try to find out exactly what's gone on. Ben says, no, you're not doing that. I don't trust the board, I don't trust UCAD, I'm not doing it. Instead, I'm going to go away and I'm going to compile this 170-page dossier. This is what him and his lawyers and his team did. Okay, they then come back, they have the evidence in inverted commas, and the board says, can we have a look at it? Initially it's no, you can't. UCAD, what about UCAD? Can they have a look at it? No, you can't. You'll just have to take my word for it, that I'm innocent. Can you imagine that in a courtroom? Going in there, you are charged with XYZ. Doesn't matter, I've got proof that I'm innocent. Have you? Can we have a look at it? No, you can't, Your Honour. I'm sorry, but you can't. Why not? Well, I don't trust the judge. I don't trust the jury. I think they're against me. Okay, well then you're guilty, mate. Because that's the bottom line. You failed 2 tests, okay? That's it. You failed them. Now, if you've got any evidence at all, and apparently Ben is now working with UCAD and the board and so on and so forth, way, you know, after the fact, and why he couldn't have done this before, I don't know. I watched a video, I watched a couple of videos of this. I watched there was an interview with Dave Caldwell, like I said, there was that video, I think it might have been Hatman's video, one of Hatman's videos, and he's described Ben and Eddie Hearn, quite rightly, as being like 2 sort of spoilt, self-entitled brats. Again, I'm paraphrasing, but that's what he meant, all right? And he's right, and he's not the first person to say it, because I've said it, and I wasn't the first person to say it. Throughout this whole farcical, elongated soap opera, Ben and Eddie Hearn have behaved like a couple of self-entitled silver spoon brats, without question. And when people like Caldwell, who is in the game, who loves boxing, is interviewed and asked about it, and he just has this sort of vacant, exasperated look on his face, he's saying, yeah, we're all sick of it. We are all sick of it. But don't let that result in you saying, oh, all right, I'm not interested anymore, and then the spin meisters come in, stir the pudding, and make it into something that obscures the real issues, that obscures the actual evidence. Because there was no evidence that the board were against Ben or that UCAD were against Ben. There's no evidence at all for that. That's just Ben's either wishful thinking or paranoia or neuroses or whatever you want to call it. I think he mentioned the fact that Nigel Benn was ripped up his, I mean, I remember that happening actually I think it was on ITV. Nigel Benn ripped up his board licence, and he banged heads with them. He fought for them again. I mean, don't get me wrong, he got his licence back, and that was within a year or a year and a half. He was fighting under the board's jurisdiction again. But for some reason, I mean, that's a good, you know, it's not very good, but it's a convenient hook on which to hang your wishful thinking. they were against my dad. My dad did this to them, so they're against me. You know, and even though the board are run by totally different people now, and it's 31 years ago, whatever it was. No more than that, probably. I think it's 33 years ago. But anyway, the point I'm making is, in my long-winded way, don't let spin grab the narrative and obscure the main issues. Let's be clear about the main issues. Ben failed 2 tests. It's up to him, as someone who has been charged, who is in court, it's up to him, I mean court metaphorically, to prove his innocence. If he's got the proof, it's up to him to present it. Don't overlook the fact that anyone that he brings in is essentially employed by him because they're being paid. So in other words, they're not going to, if they're being paid, they're not going to say, well, actually, yeah, we've looked at the evidence and you're guilty. What do you mean I'm guilty? I hired you. Come on, give me more to work with. You know, no, it doesn't matter. There have to be neutral, objective judges, neutral, objective professionals who are looking into this. And again, I repeat for a third time, if Ben is innocent, it's up to him, his team and his lawyers to convince the board, UCAD, the public that, you know, it was a mistake, that the two tests were erroneous, even though they were weeks apart, even though I think they were both positive for clomiphene. It's up to Ben to say, yeah, but you know, well, maybe I react differently to these tests, and clomiphene's showing up, and maybe I've got some sort of the way maybe I've got some sort of chemistry in me, or my physical makeup is different to other people, or whatever BS he comes up with. You know, it's up to him to present it. He may have something of more substance than that, but he's got to present it, and then everybody can say, okay, we understand. We've looked at the evidence, we get it, okay? But let's be careful here. Don't end up like poor old Dave Caldwell. And he's not the only one I've seen. I mean, whenever I talk to boxing fans, they're like, oh, that Ben thing, is it still going on? You know, a lot of people have said, who cares? Well, you should care, because this is about boxing. It's very interesting, because in that interview with Caldwell, he was actually talking about the heavyweight division. And he was saying, you know, the heavyweight division is a farce at the moment. No one's fighting anyone. No one's finalising anything. You've got Fury, God knows where he is. He's away with the fairies. And there's this talk of this great, you know, Saudi double bill in December. And suddenly White's fighting AJ, then he's not. And all this stuff's going on. And people view the heavyweight division as being, you know, if the heavyweight division it's the flagship division, if it's not doing well, boxing's not doing well, which is not true, because boxing's doing great. The heavyweights aren't. I made a video about the cruiserweights last week, I think. You know, other divisions are doing fine. They're doing brilliant. We've got Spence and Crawford coming up. Finally, maybe a couple of years too late, but still a great fight, great matchup. 4 or 5 days before that, we've got Fulton versus Inoue. So that's within a week. So boxing's doing fine. The heavyweights aren't. But when you get instances like this, like, you know, the heavyweights pissing about and dramas, quote unquote drama, you know, with people failing tests, it obscures what's going on in boxing. It obscures the reality of boxing. And again, we don't want this Ben thing brushed under the carpet. This has got to be nipped, a bit late to be nipped in the bud, but it's got to be dealt with properly. It's got to be dealt with so we have a definitive ruling. Let's stick to the basics. You failed 2 tests. You supposedly have evidence and didn't show it. You ripped up your licence. The ball is in your court, right? In your side of the court, not in the board's side or UCAD's side. They wanted to know the details. You said you had the details. You didn't give them to them. So let's be careful here. Don't let the spin meisters win. Don't let this is almost like a political drama, isn't it? Don't let the spin doctors control the narrative. I think that's important to remember. Anyway, that's my rant. Leave your comments below. Let me know what you think. I mean, I'm sure you're sick to death of the whole thing, but again, I agree with the guy who left the comment in one of the comment section for the video. Keep banging the drum for the truth. Don't let the spin doctors take over the narrative. Very, very important. Comments below. Thank you for your time, as always. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. It takes a second. And as always, I'll answer your comments. Thanks for your time, and bye for now.